right, what's going on, and welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these educational videos. I also have a link down in the description below where you can learn my strategy directly from me, one-on-one as well as in a group. All right, let's get started. So coming into today, I wanted to see buys. I mean, if you just look at this market overall, this is just a buyer's market, at least on the 1 hour time frame. Now, coming into today's starting price action, by the way, we had a glitch on the Topstep platform, and we glitched out when I was in this area for sales. So first off, let me do my analysis. We had this 1 hour break of structure to the downside. So I initially was looking to see sales. Actually, where were we at? I think we were around right here. Let me see. So I think this is where we were. I think we had broken down here and then broken up here. So let me go to the 5-minute time frame because that really shows what I was looking for. Okay, so this is how we were at the start of the day. So initially I was looking for some sales back into this area because we had a lot of liquidity. You can see all of the liquidity down in this area. Liquidity just means highs and lows, or stacked highs and lows. This was liquidity. As you can see right here, we had this high, this high, this high, and this high stacked together. Price came in, took it. So if this is my 1 hour break of structure and this is the 1 hour low that I want to see hold, and I'll write that in here, 1 hour higher low, this is the low that I wanted to see hold that swept this liquidity over here, which you can see we have stacked lows over here that we ended up taking out with the push and then going to the upside. Like I said, we broke this with this structural high. So now this is my buying and selling range from this low to this high, looking for buys inside the lower part of this area. So I can see we have all the stack lows down here, and this will be a good spot to look for some buys for the day. So with that in mind, we were around right here. Where were we at? Right here. I think one more candle over. We were no. We did not take out the liquidity yet. So we were right here when Topstep started glitching. Essentially, I was on like the 2 minute, 1 minute time frame. I saw this and I was like, okay, we should be getting in short for at least down to this low and maybe this low. And so that's pretty much how my trade looked. But then this is when Topstep glitched out. You couldn't enter or exit your active trades. And I have some of those screenshots right here. I'm not going to show them all because I don't want like my password or anything leaked. So I can't even show it right now. Let me see if I could take a screenshot. I don't think I can. But anyways, this was what I was looking for initially at the start of the day. This was going to be the TP for that, and then I was going to look for some type of lower time frame breaker structure, liquidity sweep to then head to the upside. So we glitched out. I couldn't do anything. They ended up fixing the platform, but we were already well above my entry point, because if you can see right here, we start to get some liquidity build up, and then we end up sweeping that liquidity and then breaking structure to the upside. So this was a break of structure to the upside after sweeping these lows. And so now this becomes essentially a demand, and we pop back into it, and then we continue up from there for the rest of the day. Well, not the rest of the day, but a little bit. So that would have been a beautiful trade, you know, for the day. We actually ended up getting in it on one of our accounts somehow, and we gained like $500. I think on this play down. But I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure. But anyways, this would have been the spot where I would have entered, probably somewhere around here. But I ended up getting in some some options contracts for buys for like the one of the first times today, right around here to just see where we could take price. So I can pull that up. And it was on, I think, QQQ. Oh, this was an NVIDIA play that I actually took based off of QQQ. So this was my second options play ever, and it played out very well. Total return 129 for this, and my entry or cost was $68. So 0.68 ends up being 68 because you buy 100 um, of whatever stock per contract. So one contract equals 100 shares. 100 shares at 68 cents a piece is $68. So I ended up selling it for $1.97 per share, which gave me, a profit of 129. Beautiful. But that was not the one I wanted to show you. This is the one I wanted to show you. I ended up taking a nice little $15 gain for one contract on QQQ, which is basically the NASDAQ, but as an ETF. So anyway, that was the plays for today. Like, it was pretty cutthroat, dry, and very simple, but unfortunately I couldn't really execute on them like I wanted to because of the Topstep glitching. And I also did not trade on my XFA because of the glitch. As soon as we started glitching, I just went ahead and locked my account, like the Express account. I was like, okay, I'm not about to deal with that. But if we take a look at gold also, I broke this down earlier. And I actually had a sell trade that I did this afternoon. Let me exit out of that, which you can see right here. It was a break of this structure right here. I initially sold up here, right here. No, I think right here. Yes, because we swept this liquidity inside of here. We already had this 15-minute break of structure, so I wanted to see another 15-minute low being broken. So after this sweep, I was pretty confident. I had my stop loss above this high, but I ended up exiting around here because the session closed. And as you can see, when the session opened back up, we just continued to drop to the downside. So now this will be a demand that we can probably see get respected, and then for price to continue to the upside. So most likely that's like a 15-minute break of structure to the upside right there. Boom. So let me see if that's maybe even a 30, not a 30-minute. But there was also one trade in the morning, but I was not looking at gold at all this morning. So the trade for this morning would have been something like this. Let me remove some of these notifications. So I would have saw that we broke this low, but we also kind of swept it with some strong momentum. So now this is the high that I want to see hold and go lower. 1 hour break of structure. But in the beginning of the day, the price didn't give any sales from this area. It ended up happening later on in the day. As you can see, we had a break of structure down, and now we're coming back down. But at the beginning of the day, you can see a few things. We have this trend line that ends up being broken. You could take it as a breakout. We have this lower low being created. This is the structure that is also broken right here. And then let's check and see what we have on the 2-minute. Maybe an entry somewhere inside of here. But the thing is, and I said this earlier, if you have this high and this low and you're expecting sales to come in from that this higher region, taking like an inverse fair value gap play or something that like this trend line break, it's a little risky because you already have that 50% level right here that we could tap into, see some selling pressure, and then see a downward push. So at the very least, if I was to take this in the morning, I would look to target some type of point of liquidity, which would either be like right up here, right here, or even this high. So it would not be far within that region because we're already 50% deep into that range. So at max, I probably would have held it for 1.8. And then you can see same thing we get. I saw this 5-minute breaker structure to the downside. And that's where I was looking for sells within, you can see that 1 hour region. So this is the last up move before the down move. This is accumulation, manipulation, distribution. This is like a rally base drop that all creates supply, and you can see we keep coming back into it, and then eventually we break this trend line and we continue to the downside, and then we get the same thing. We get a drop, base, drop, and then a base, rally. So this is now demand zone, and we can see a push up to maybe even take some of these highs before tomorrow. So that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Like I said, I have a Discord where I teach one-on-one as well as in a group where you can learn all of my techniques, my secrets, and my strategy, and take you to the next level. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.